Sierra, are you visiting your family again? I've lost count of how many times you've chosen your parents over your responsibilities as Brad's wife. You didn't visit us for Christmas last year, nor for Easter or the 4th of July before that. When exactly do you plan to come here? It's been years since you married Brad, and you haven't visited even once, not even once. What are you thinking? Do you even realize what your responsibilities are as my oldest son's wife?
Hello, Natasha. I've mentioned this several times before, but let me reiterate. I only meet you on special occasions, weddings, funerals, and similar events. As far as I know, there haven't been any recent occasions that would necessitate my attendance. So no, I haven't had a reason to visit you guys yet for a while now.
That's ridiculous! Just because Brad is stationed overseas doesn't mean you can completely neglect his family. Do you realize how selfish this makes you look? As my oldest son's wife, it is your duty to dedicate yourself to his family, especially his parents. This isn't about what you want, it's about tradition and respect.
Are you forgetting why I stopped coming around in the first place? When Brad and I first got married, you immediately started criticizing me. You treated me as if I was some kind of project you could mold into your ideal version of a daughter-in-law. Brad had to step in and tell you to stop, right?
Criticizing you? When have I ever done that? I was only trying to teach you the proper conduct of my oldest son's wife is all.
Then let me ask you, what exactly does your version of proper conduct entail?
Oh my, you mean you still don't know? Fine, since you seem so clueless, I'll explain it again, step by step. 1. An eldest son's wife must never disobey her mother-in-law. 2. An eldest son's wife must wholeheartedly dedicate herself to her husband's family. 3. An eldest son's wife must quit her job and focus entirely on her household. 4. An eldest son's wife must give birth to a male heir and cannot stop having children until she does. 5. An eldest son's wife must live with her in-laws and take care of them with genuine affection. 6. An eldest son's wife must take on all household chores after moving in. 7. An eldest son's wife must sever ties with her birth family and treat her husband's parents as her own. Now, does that clear things up for you?
Those 7 points, they're not just unrealistic, they're impossible for me to follow.
Excuse me?
I'm someone who believes in voicing my opinions. Even if it's with my in-laws, I'll discuss differences of opinion thoroughly. If I see something wrong, I won't hesitate to address it. As for living together, Brad himself said it wouldn't happen. And regarding your retirement plans, Brad told me that you and his father have already decided to handle things independently.
It's just something Brad said on his own. The traditional way is for the eldest son's wife to handle these responsibilities. I've been trying to convince Brad to understand that this is how things should be.
Tradition or not, the idea that I must quit my job and cut ties with my family just because I married Brad is completely unreasonable. I love my career and I plan to continue working. And I'll visit my family whenever I feel like it. That won't change.
You can't just dismiss tradition like that.
And about your insistence on having a male heir, you're aware, I assume, that the baby's gender is determined by the father's chromosomes, correct? It's not something I can control. Also, gender selection isn't something amateurs should even consider. It's unrealistic and, frankly, absurd.
Sierra, what kind of nonsense are you spouting? If you think you can silence me with these flimsy excuses, you're sorely mistaken.
If you consider this nonsense, then what you're saying is nothing short of absurd.
Excuse me?
It's this unrealistic attitude of yours that makes what you're doing feel like in-law harassment.
Harassment? Oh, don't be ridiculous. This isn't harassment, it's guidance. I'm doing my best to help you because you clearly don't understand what it means to be a proper daughter-in-law. And yet you have the audacity to reject my kindness, Sierra?
Kindness, you say?
Yes, kindness. You don't see how much effort I've put into this. It is heartbreaking and infuriating that my sincerity hasn't reached you. You need to understand something. A woman's role is to nurture and protect her household. Quit your job already and focus on your home. I am teaching you this because it's my duty as your senior.
Every family is different, Natasha. Brad and I are building a household that reflects our values, not someone else's.
How can you not understand this yet?
What you call guidance is nothing more than meddling in an attempt to force your beliefs onto me.
But you married into this family. As a member of this household, it's only natural for you to heed the advice of your seniors.
I see. Well, let's talk about some practical matters.
Practical matters? What now? Are you still going to defy me?
First, let's talk about my job. Before I married Brad, I founded my own company and became its CEO.
Wait, CEO?
Yes, if I quit my job, that means shutting down my company. And if the company closes, what happens next? It's simple. My employees lose their jobs and their livelihoods.
You're a CEO? Why haven't I heard about this before?
I mentioned it when we first met, but you dismissed me, saying, "Stop talking about silly dreams and focus on being a proper wife." Even when I tried to explain, you interrupted me and lectured me about proper conduct.
I was only trying to prepare you for your role in this family.
Brad was so frustrated by your behavior that he told me, "You don't have to deal with my mother."
Brad said that?
In fact, he even suggested I block your contact information. But considering his overseas assignment, I kept the lines of communication open. Now, back to the point, do you still think I should quit my job?
Well, I don't want your employees to suffer, but...
So you understand my position?
But I still think a woman should prioritize her family over her career.
I can't abandon my company.
Oh, I have an idea. You can keep the company running and focus on your home.
What's your suggestion?
Hand over your CEO position to Brad.
Excuse me?
If Brad takes over your role, you can finally focus on being a proper wife.
That's not how it works. Our fields are entirely different.
Brad is a quick learner. He can do it. Let's give it 2 months, train him, step down, and move in with us.
This isn't realistic.
Trust me, Brad can handle it.
Natasha, do you hear yourself right now?
Of course. Now let me call Brad and arrange his return.
There's no need. Brad is here.
What?
He's right here with me. He has something to say to you. Listen carefully to what he has to say.
Brad, when did you return to the U.S.?
Yesterday.
Yesterday? Goodness, why didn't you inform me beforehand? Do you have any idea how shocking it is to find out so suddenly? You could have at least sent me a message.
It wasn't planned in advance, Mom. The return was a last-minute decision due to some personnel changes. This time it's just a temporary trip for meetings at the head office. I'll head back to my overseas post the day after tomorrow. That said, starting next month I'll officially move to a domestic position.
Oh, I see. Well, in that case, you should submit your resignation to your current company as soon as possible.
What? Resign? Why?
You read the messages I exchanged with Sierra earlier, didn't you? Then you should already know you're going to take over as CEO of Sierra's company in 2 months. So you need to leave your current job right away and focus on preparing for that transition.
Mom, are you serious right now? Do you even understand what you're saying?
Of course I do.
No, you don't! Mom, I've worked my entire life to get where I am now. Do you remember how hard I worked to land a job in my current field? It's not just a job to me. It's something I've been passionate about for years. And now you're telling me to quit without any regard for what this job means to me?
But Brad, think about it. You'd be a CEO. That's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You'd earn a much higher income than you do now, and it would provide a sense of financial security for your father and me as we get older.
Mom, Dad has already told me he has no intention of relying on us financially. He's planning to move into a retirement home when the time comes, and he doesn't want to be a burden on us.
Oh, that's just your father being stubborn. I'll talk to him and convince him otherwise.
No, Mom, there's no need for that. I support Dad's decision, and it's something we've both agreed on.
What are you saying, Brad?
I'm saying I've had enough of your meddling. You've been imposing your outdated views on Sierra from the start without ever listening to her side of things. And now you're trying to involve me in your absurd plan to take over her company? It's beyond unreasonable.
Oh, but listen to me.
No, Mom, you need to listen for once. Do you even know what kind of business Sierra runs?
Well, not exactly. I only found out she was a CEO earlier today.
Exactly. You've known her for years now, and yet you've never bothered to understand what she does because you've been too busy dismissing her accomplishments. Let me spell it out for you. Sierra's company operates in a highly specialized field. Most of the employees are skilled professionals with years of training and expertise.
Highly specialized? What does that mean?
It means her business requires a deep level of knowledge and technical skills. You can't just hand the reins to some random person, especially someone like me who has zero experience in that field. Running her company isn't as simple as you think it is, Mom.
But surely, with enough training.
No, Mom, it's not something you can just train for in 2 months. Sierra built her company from the ground up, and it's an extension of her skills, her vision, and her leadership. It's not the kind of thing that can be transferred to someone else, especially not on such short notice.
Well, what exactly does her company do?
I'm not telling you. Knowing you, you'd probably show up at her office and start interfering with her employees.
Interfering? I would never.
Yes, you would. And Sierra doesn't need that kind of stress right now. She's already dealing with enough thanks to your constant pressure.
But Brad, she's the eldest son's wife. She has responsibilities to this family.
Responsibilities? Mom, Sierra has gone above and beyond to show you respect, even when you didn't deserve it. She's tolerated your demands and tried to maintain a polite relationship with you, but you've done nothing but criticize her and push her into a mold that doesn't fit who she is.
I was only trying to teach her the proper role of a daughter-in-law.
No, you weren't. You were trying to control her. And guess what? Sierra isn't the kind of person who'll let herself be controlled. She's strong, independent, and capable. That's why I married her, and that's why she's decided to block your number from now on.
Block my number? What are you talking about?
The only reason Sierra hadn't blocked you before was because she didn't want to make it difficult for me to stay in touch with you while I was overseas. But now that I'm back, there's no need for her to put up with your nonsense anymore.
You can't be serious. She is completely disregarding her role as the eldest son's wife. I won't allow this.
Mom, stop. You don't get to allow or disallow anything. Sierra isn't a servant, and she's not obligated to follow your outdated ideas of what a daughter-in-law should be.
But, Brad...
No. I've had enough. Until you take responsibility for your actions and realize how much hurt you've caused, I'm not coming home either.
Brad, don't be ridiculous.
This isn't ridiculous, Mom. It's the result of your behavior. From now on, if you want to contact us, you'll have to go through Dad. That's the only way I'll consider maintaining any sort of relationship with you.
You're being unreasonable.
Unreasonable? No, Mom! Unreasonable is trying to ruin someone else's career and marriage because you can't let go of your outdated expectations. I hope you think long and hard about everything I've said. Goodbye.
Brad, no, wait. Please don't block me. Brad!
After Brad's report, my mother-in-law was scolded by my father-in-law. However, true to her nature, she refused to change her opinion and remained steadfast in her stance. The truth was, there had been a long-standing disagreement between them regarding how they would handle their retirement years. Their visions for the future had never aligned, and this clash had been brewing for quite some time. It wasn't just a matter of minor differences, it was a deep-seated issue that had caused tension for years. But what happened next, however, was the turning point that neither of them had expected. In the heat of the moment, after a particularly heated argument, my mother-in-law decided to take a drastic step. She had been feeling increasingly unsupported and frustrated, and in a fit of anger, she pulled out a signed divorce form that had been prepared in secret. It was a last-ditch attempt to exert control over the situation, hoping that my father-in-law would change his ways if he were faced with the consequences of a divorce. However, her plan backfired. Instead of begging her to reconsider, my father-in-law took the opportunity to free himself from the years of stress and strife that had defined their relationship. The very next day, he took the signed form to the local government office and submitted it. My mother-in-law, who had been expecting a more dramatic confrontation, was left utterly stunned. What she had intended as a threat had quickly become an irreversible reality. There was no turning back now. She realized that her impulsive decision had effectively ended her marriage, and she was left with nothing but regret. It was a harsh wake-up call for her, and one that she wasn't prepared for. As soon as the divorce was official, the reality of the situation sank in. My mother-in-law had to leave the house where she had lived for so long, no longer able to stay in her marital home. She began scrambling for somewhere to go. It didn't take long for her to decide that her only option was to move in with us, my husband Brad and me. Without consulting us first, she sent over a shipment of her belongings, as though we had already agreed to take her in. This move, while bold, was also incredibly presumptuous. We were caught completely off guard by the unexpected arrival of her possessions. Brad and I stood there in shock as the delivery truck unloaded boxes of her things on our doorstep. There had been no warning, no prior discussion. She simply assumed that we would accommodate her without considering how this would affect our lives. We had our own routine, our own space, and the idea of suddenly opening our home to her felt overwhelming. Brad, ever the problem solver, wasted no time in addressing the situation. Instead of confronting his mother directly, he reached out to her older brother, the only remaining relative who might be able to offer any assistance. Brad explained the situation, outlining the difficulties of housing his mother and the implications for our family. His uncle, who had been dealing with his sister's behavior for years, wasn't particularly surprised by her actions. He was familiar with her stubbornness and understood the challenges she presented. However, he agreed to help. Brad arranged for the shipment of my mother-in-law's belongings to be redirected to her brother's house. The items were rerouted and the situation was resolved without much drama. But just as we thought the matter was settled, my mother-in-law arrived at our doorstep completely unannounced. It was as if she expected us to simply accept her into our home without any discussion. Brad, who had prepared himself for this possibility, calmly and firmly explained the situation to his mother. He told her that we were not in a position to take her in and that her belongings had already been sent to her brother's home. My mother-in-law was taken aback by this response. She'd clearly expected a warm welcome, but instead she found herself being turned away. It wasn't the outcome she had hoped for, and she was visibly upset. To avoid further conflict, Brad's uncle came over to personally escort my mother-in-law back to his home. It was a somewhat awkward and uncomfortable moment, but ultimately it was the best solution for everyone involved. We didn't want to completely shut her out, but we also needed to establish boundaries and protect our own family life. Now my mother-in-law lives at her brother's home, which has already passed into the hands of the next generation. The home is no longer truly hers. It now belongs to her nephew, and she occupies a small, isolated corner of the house. Her once commanding presence is diminished, and she now lives in a much more modest and humble situation. It's a far cry from the life that she once had, and I'm sure it's difficult for her to adjust to this new reality. Brad's uncle has said that she spends most of her time quietly, keeping to herself. She doesn't want to draw attention to her situation, and she seems to avoid conflict at all costs. But there's no denying that her life has dramatically changed. The woman who once ruled her household with an iron fist is now living on the fringes of her family, no longer the center of attention. It's a humbling experience, and I can't help but feel a sense of justice in how things have turned out. For years, my mother-in-law had been the source of much of the tension in our family. Her refusal to compromise and her ability to manipulate situations for her own benefit created many problems, especially with my father-in-law. Now it seems as though the tables had turned. She was the one facing the consequences of her actions. While I do feel some sympathy for her, there's also a sense of satisfaction in knowing that her behavior has finally caught up with her. Looking back, it's clear that my mother-in-law's life has been shaped by her refusal to bend or adjust to the needs of others. She's always been quick to judge and criticize, but now she's on the receiving end of the same treatment. It's a difficult lesson, but one that could potentially help her grow and change. Time will tell whether she learns from this experience or continues down the same path of self-centeredness and pride. As for Brad and me, the situation has taught us some valuable lessons about boundaries and family dynamics. We've learned that it's important to stand firm in our decisions, even when it's uncomfortable. We've also learned that we cannot sacrifice our own happiness and well-being for the sake of others who are unwilling to change or respect our limits. Our home is our sanctuary, and we must protect it from outside influences that seek to disrupt our peace. Moving forward, I hope that my mother-in-law can use this time to reflect on her life and the choices she's made. She has the opportunity to reinvent herself, but only if she's willing to let go of her past behaviors. It's not an easy path, but it's the only one that will lead to any sort of redemption. Whether or not she takes that path remains to be seen. For now, Brad and I are focused on our own future, one that is free from the drama and tension that has so often plagued our family. We've built a life together and we intend to protect that life. We've learned how to set boundaries and how to deal with difficult family situations in a way that preserves our own happiness. In the end, life has a way of evening the score. My mother-in-law's story is a reminder that actions have consequences, and sometimes the things we do come back to haunt us. While it's hard to watch anyone go through a difficult time, it's also important to remember that we all reap what we sow. My mother-in-law's downfall was a direct result of her own choices, and now she must live with the consequences. Brad and I are moving forward with our lives, undeterred by the challenges that have come our way. Our relationship has grown much stronger through adversity, and we've learned the importance of staying true to ourselves. This experience has taught us that no matter what happens, we must always prioritize our own happiness and well-being. This experience opened my eyes to how important it is to be firm in our decisions, even when it feels uncomfortable or difficult. For a long time, I feel like I've had to accommodate everyone, especially family. But now I understand that in order to protect what Brad and I have built together, we must prioritize our needs. After all, we're the ones living our lives, and we can't let anyone disrupt the happiness we've worked so hard to achieve. As for my mother-in-law, I can't say I feel much sympathy for her anymore. Yes, I acknowledge that she's going through a difficult time, but her own actions have led her to this point. She spent so many years controlling situations and the people around her that it's no surprise that eventually everything started to unravel. Her world has been turned upside down, and now she must face the consequences of her own behavior. But as hard as it is to say, it's the only way she might learn. Brad and I are now stronger, more united than ever. We've learned that sometimes to move forward, you need to let go of the toxic elements in your life, even if they are family. It's a hard truth, but one that's been necessary for us. We're no longer afraid of confrontation, and we know that we must protect the life that we've built together. In the end, my mother-in-law's story is a lesson for everyone. Actions have consequences, and sometimes those consequences are inevitable. We can only hope that in time she learns to reflect on her past and make better choices for her future. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.
Mom?
Oh, Megan, what's going on?
I'm going to ask you directly. Is it true that you've been mistreating Avery?
Huh? Avery? You mean Jason's Avery, right? Mistreatment? That's not possible.
Oh, I'm not saying you definitely did it. Jason came to me furious, saying Mom's been mistreating my dear wife terribly. He was really upset. What? The kind, gentle woman I know would never do something like that. I can't believe it. That's how I felt when Jason told me. But even if something like mistreatment is happening, I can't just assume it's you without knowing the full story. Maybe there's something going on with Avery, too. I couldn't just ignore the possibility that she has her own issues in the situation. So instead of staying confused and upset, I decided to just ask you directly what happened.
I see. Well, thank you for not just blindly believing Jason's one-sided story.
So, did something happen? It's only been 2 months since you started living together, right? Mom, what happened?
I can't forgive Avery.
You can't forgive her? For you to say something like that, it must be something serious.
She's been throwing away everything that reminds me of your grandparents and your father.
What? She threw away those keepsakes?
Yes, things that belong to your grandparents and your father.
What? Not just one thing, but several items?
Yes, that's right.
Wait, so that includes things like the fountain pen your dad inherited from your grandfather? The one he's always treasured?
Yes. Even though I don't really use the fountain pen anymore, it's a memento I wanted to keep. I kept trying to explain how important it was to me, but she just wouldn't understand. And instead of apologizing or even acknowledging it, she said, "Do you have proof I threw them away?" While I was out working part-time, Avery was alone at home. Almost everything that disappeared during that time has to have been her doing.
So there's no physical evidence to prove it, right?
But despite being a stay-at-home wife, she doesn't help with the housework at all.
Wait, Avery's not working? She asked to live together so she could save up for a house of her own, right? I've heard she doesn't help with the housework, but she's actually calling herself a housewife while doing nothing?
The other day, I couldn't help but say to her, a little sarcastically, "You're great at throwing away other people's memories, but you never do any cleaning." I think that's what Jason's been hearing about, which is why he's so upset.
Wow, seriously? I should hear Avery's side of that story too, but I agree that I should have had solid proof before confronting her. At this point, it's just too much.
Oh, and after dinner tonight, I realized I needed to tell you, but the books you left at my house for safekeeping have all been thrown away as well.
What? I was planning to pick them up when I moved next month.
I guess she thought they were mine because I'd put them in my closet. I never thought she'd go through my closet, so I'm sorry about that.
Well, let's hear Avery's side of things before jumping to conclusions. Avery, good evening. Are you free right now? Oh, Megan. Jason told me that you've been complaining about how your mother's been treating you badly. I'm really wondering what's been going on. Oh, that's right. Can you listen to me for a moment? I don't want to speak badly of your mom, but it's just gotten so bad that I want you to know what's happening right now. What's going on? Well, you know I'm a stay-at-home wife, right? So I've been working really hard at the housework for my in-laws. I even did a big cleaning just the other day, but your mom kept complaining, saying I wasn't doing it properly, but I was doing it. Honestly, I think she's just saying these things because she wants to pick on me. When you say big cleaning, what exactly do you mean? I mostly cleaned out old, ugly stuff that I'd never use and the books that were shoved in boxes in the closet. But even then, she's complaining. Doesn't that just scream mistreatment from her? You have to say something to her. I bet if she knew her own daughter found out, she'd stop acting like this. By the way, did you call a recycling collection service or something for all of it? Huh? In your area, isn't Wednesday for non-burnable trash, Monday and Thursday for burnable trash, and Friday there's no garbage collection? Your big cleaning, based on what Jason was complaining about, must have happened on Friday. And since today is Sunday, that means the garbage collection hasn't come yet, right? Oh. Well, I don't think that's related to the mistreatment, though. Well, I guess not. Never mind. Oh, I just remembered. I was thinking about checking out a flea market app. Huh? I check it out regularly because sometimes I find good things. Right now I'm looking for a fountain pen and some reference books. Oh, I see. About what you just said, I'll talk to my mom first and see what she has to say. Oh, okay, thanks. I really appreciate it. I found several other items being sold from the same account, too.
It was being sold?
Yeah. I thought I should report it to the app administration, so I was just about to do that, but just before I could, the listing got canceled.
Right before?
When I went to the account's main page, it looked like they were in the middle of canceling all the listings. The number kept going down, and in the end, there were no items listed anymore.
Oh, no.
Well, at least we don't have to worry about someone else buying it now. Oh, and I took a screenshot, so I have proof.
That's a relief, but so it was Avery, huh?
Probably. The account name was a name similar to her real name, and the background of the listing photos seemed to be the wallpaper from her house. And then, right when I mentioned that I checked the flea market app regularly and was about to look, the listings got canceled.
I see. So now we just need physical evidence.
Yes, we need to find where the stolen items are now and dig a bit deeper to understand why Avery went as far as to steal and try to sell them.
So what should I do next?
Mom, do you have your part-time job tomorrow morning as usual? If you don't stop anywhere, you can be back in 30 minutes, right?
Yeah, I work from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., so I'll leave the house at 7:30 a.m. and get back at around 12:30 p.m. It'll be the usual schedule.
Can you take the day off suddenly?
It's not a busy period, so I think it'll be fine if I call in the morning and let them know.
If my guess is right...
Do you have a plan?
Well, yeah. Since both you and Jason will be home tonight, it'll be hard to do anything. So after both of you leave for work tomorrow, that'll be when it's our chance.
So tomorrow morning, when Avery will be home alone?
Exactly. So I need you to act like you're going to your part-time job as usual and leave the house. After that, we'll meet up. I'll pick you up at the first corner after you leave. Oh, and I'll rent a car so nobody gets suspicious.
You've really thought this through.
Speed is crucial for these things. All right, that's the plan.
Got it. Megan, good morning. I've just left the house.
Good morning, Mom. I'm already at the corner.
Got it.
Avery, good morning. Megan, good morning. Is there something you need? Something I need? Oh, that's actually my line, you know. Huh? I thought if anything was going to happen, it would be when my mom and Jason left for work and you'd be alone at home. But I never expected that while your family was out, a strange man would be coming and going into your house. What? I haven't done anything like that. You can come over right now. There's not even a trace of anything like that left. Well, today you were just coming to pick up some things, weren't you? It's just that yesterday was so recent. So I thought you'd skip today's fun in case anyone might suspect something, which I assumed was your reason for skipping. Is that what's going on? Wait a minute. You're imagining all these terrible things about me. I'm not imagining anything, Avery. This is real. How can you be sure of that? Are you planning on helping with the bullying too? I'll go straight to Jason with all of this. Well, your boyfriend was seen coming out of your house carrying stolen items that had been hidden somewhere inside. Huh? My husband restrained him. What? Are you serious? Yes, my husband. Do you remember him? The mixed martial artist? Oh, don't worry. I didn't let him get hurt, and no punches were thrown. Our 6'10" tall, muscle-bound man just gave him a little glare, and the guy immediately confessed everything. He confessed? Wait, what do you mean? He admitted that the stolen items had been cleverly hidden in your room, and that the entire thing was about trying to get money for cheating dates and trips with you. It was all about funding those activities. Wait, this can't be true. Also, we've been keeping an eye on your parents' front door, so trying to run away now would be pointless. Keeping an eye on them? Yes, we've had your front door under observation, so even if you try to escape, it won't work. But how did you know about the items? How did you find out about all of this? Plus, we've also identified your flea market app account. You're kidding, right? It's not a joke. We even took a screenshot before you canceled the listings. How did you find out? Well, when I was casually talking about checking the flea market, you suddenly rushed to cancel the listings. It was at that exact moment when I happened to catch you in the act of removing them. But my account doesn't have any proof. I'm pretty sure one of the items you listed was a fountain pen. That pen, which belonged to my grandfather, was passed down to my father and then to my mother. It's a custom-made, one-of-a-kind item created by the craftsmen of the time. One of a kind? I don't believe it. The design is so unique, I knew it immediately when I saw it in the listing photos. You didn't recognize the brand, but it was that item, wasn't it? There were also books in the cardboard boxes in my mom's closet. Those were books I had temporarily stored at my parents' house to prepare for my move next month. Wait, really? I've read those books so many times that I know every little scratch or stain on them. That's how I recognized them immediately when I saw the pictures you posted of the listings. Those weren't your mom's things? No, those were mine. They were temporarily stored at my mom's place while I was preparing for my move, and I was planning to take them with me. That's how I knew for sure when I saw them listed. It was the exact same set. You didn't even recognize them? No, and that's not all. I checked with Jason, and he confirmed that the account was yours. He found the computer was still logged into it when he looked. Oh. Well, I guess I must have forgotten to log out after using my computer when my phone's battery died while I was listing items. That's when my husband must have found out about it. Yes, Jason went to work this morning as usual, but I left him a voicemail explaining everything. He said he'd check it in his free time. It's only a matter of time before he knows the entire story. What is this? This is unreal. Well, I think it's time we stop this little exchange. We've gone on long enough. What do you mean, stop this exchange? The reason I've been dragging out this conversation is that I've been buying time. Buying time? Yes, and now that your parents are arriving. My parents? Yes, they're here and they'll be taking care of things. Wait, hold on, what are you talking about? I'm not going to wait. You've had your chance. Wait, what do you mean? Now, as I said, your parents are here and they'll be dealing with you shortly.
No, wait, I can explain. I don't know what's going on, but I didn't do anything wrong. Please, listen to me.
Sorry, Avery, but I'm not going to listen. This is done now.
Wait, no, please.
I'm sure you won't be able to run away. I've already made sure of that.
You can't do this.
Sorry, but it's already too late. Your fate is in motion now. We've got the evidence. It's over.
You can't possibly. No, please, just hear me out.
I've already given you the chance to explain yourself, but now it's time for you to face the consequences. There's nothing left for you to say. Your parents are going to be here shortly, and you won't be able to escape.
Please, you can't do this to me. I didn't mean for any of this to happen.
I'm sorry, Avery, but there's no turning back now. Your actions have caught up with you.
Wait, you're not going to tell my parents, are you? Please, I'll do anything. I'll fix everything. Just don't let them know.
It's too late for that. Everything is already set in motion.
Wait, no, please. I'll never do anything like this again, I swear.
I don't want to hear it, Avery. The truth is out now. You've been caught, and there is no way around it. Your parents are going to find out. There's no escaping this.
Wait, no, you can't do this. I beg you, don't tell them. Please, I'm begging you.
I'm afraid it's already done. Goodbye, Avery.
Wait, no, please, I can explain. I really can. Please, just listen to me.
Sorry, Avery, but you've run out of time. My older brother, who had always referred to my sister-in-law as my cute wife in the most affectionate and possessive way possible, had a complete shift in demeanor once he discovered the affair. It wasn't just that he was hurt, but rather that the entire foundation of his trust in her came crashing down. His mood seemed to plummet immediately. You could almost hear the change in his energy. A sound like a sudden exhale or deflation of some inflated balloon. It was as if his emotions had hit rock bottom in an instant. Before this discovery, he was full of life, always glowing when he spoke about his wife, doting on her as if she was the center of his universe. His love for her seemed to be unshakable, and he was so proud of the life they had built together. But the moment the truth about her infidelity came out, everything changed. He didn't scream or yell, but his response was chilling in its calmness. There was a moment of stunned silence, and then, like a flipping switch, he switched into a state of cold, mechanical resolution. The affair was a devastating blow, and instead of wallowing in it, he took decisive action. My brother wasn't one to back down from a challenge, and this situation was no exception. With all the formality and precision one might expect in a business deal, he began the legal proceedings for divorce, filing the papers with a dispassionate determination. His focus was on the future, on what needed to be done, and the emotional fallout was something that had to be dealt with later. He didn't show any signs of seeking revenge or displaying bitterness, but there was an underlying hardness in his approach that told me how deeply wounded he truly was. The divorce and the claim for emotional distress were moving forward without delay. He was going through the motions as though this was just another task that needed to be completed, methodical, efficient, but utterly devoid of the warmth and affection that had once defined their marriage. What was once love was now reduced to legal steps and financial transactions, and that stark reality was evident in every document he signed. The shock of the affair was compounded by an even more troubling revelation: family theft. We learned that my ex-sister-in-law had sold off items from our family's inheritance. These weren't just random objects, they were heirlooms passed down through generations, priceless artifacts that carried memories of our ancestors and symbolized the rich history of our family. To think that these items had just been sold without a second thought, without even a whisper of consultation, was more than just a betrayal of my brother. It was a betrayal of the entire family's legacy. Unfortunately, the law wasn't on our side in this case. When it came to theft within a family, it turned out that there were no criminal penalties that could be applied. The legal system wasn't set up to punish family members for actions like this. It was an incredibly frustrating realization, as we felt this should have been a clear-cut case of criminal activity. But the law saw it differently. Instead, we were left with the option of filing a civil suit for damages, claiming compensation for the lost items that had already been sold. While it was a relief that we could at least take some legal action, it felt inadequate given the gravity of the situation. So my brother proceeded with the civil suit, focusing on the financial losses that had been incurred. But just as we thought we were getting some semblance of closure, something far more disturbing came to light. It wasn't just the affair and the theft. There were other crimes, other wrongdoings that my ex-sister-in-law had been hiding. This wasn't just a simple betrayal. It was a web of deceit that had been carefully constructed and kept hidden from everyone, including my brother. As the investigation continued, more secrets surfaced. The affair was just the beginning. There were debts that she had been hiding, even more significant financial issues that had remained in the shadows. It became clear that she had been playing a dangerous game all along, manipulating everyone around her for her own gain. She had lied, stolen, and betrayed, and it was only when everything began to unravel that the full scope of her actions became apparent. This wasn't just about marriage falling apart, it was about a person who had been deceiving everyone for years, and who now had to face the consequences of her actions. The more we discovered, the more it became clear that this wasn't just a personal failure, it was a criminal failure. In the end, it was revealed that my ex-sister-in-law and her lover had to bear the full weight of their actions. They were both responsible for the debts, the emotional damages, and the financial ruin they had caused. There was no escaping the fallout. They couldn't hide behind lies any longer. Everything they had done was exposed, and they were left to deal with the consequences. As for the compensation claims, it turned out that my ex-sister-in-law's parents had taken on the financial burden. Their daughter had caused the mess, but they were the ones who ended up paying for it. It wasn't clear whether they did it out of guilt, obligation, or some sense of family duty, but they stepped in and covered the costs of the legal proceedings, the alimony, and the compensation for the stolen heirlooms. It was a sad reality, but one that many families find themselves in when their children make poor decisions. My brother didn't ask for his help. He didn't want to be a burden on anyone else. But there was no other option, and so the financial responsibility shifted to the parents of both my ex-sister-in-law and her lover. Meanwhile, my ex-sister-in-law, who had caused so much chaos and heartbreak, was facing a different kind of punishment. The court had ruled that she would be required to work off her debt under strict supervision. She would be made to repay the financial damages she had caused through hard labor. It was a grueling sentence, but it was the only option available to her. She would have to live under constant surveillance, working day in and day out to pay off the debts that had piled up due to her actions. But even with this arrangement, it was clear that her life would never be the same. No amount of hard work could erase the damage she had done. She had ruined her marriage, betrayed her family, and lost the trust of everyone who had ever cared about her. It was unlikely that she would ever be able to rebuild any of those relationships, and even if she worked off her debts, the stain of her actions would forever remain. Her future was now uncertain, and she was left to face the reality of her actions that had sealed her fate. Her lover, too, would have to deal with the consequences. There was no escape for either of them. They had made their choices, and now they would have to live with them. While they might have once imagined a future together, it was clear that they would both struggle to rebuild their lives. The damage was too deep and the wounds too fresh for either of them to heal anytime soon. As for my brother, the emotional toll of the entire situation was something that he would carry with him for the rest of his life. He had once been a man full of love and optimism, but now he was scarred by the betrayal of the person he had trusted most. While the legal proceedings had settled the financial aspects of the case, the emotional scars were something that could never be erased. It was a painful journey, but one that he would have to walk alone. Looking ahead, it was clear that no one involved in this mess would ever truly move on. The betrayal, the theft, and the lies had left a permanent mark on all of us. While some may have hoped for a return to normalcy, the reality was that things could never go back to the way they were. Trust had been shattered, relationships had been broken, and lives had been irreparably changed.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.
You're going to be here today, right? Everyone's really looking forward to seeing you here since it's been such a long time now. They all want to see what kind of horrible wife you've become after spending all that time avoiding everyone here.
Why would you say something like that? Have I done anything wrong?
I'm just speaking the truth is all. We all know that you don't care at all about your in-laws and that you'd rather be off on your own, only taking care of yourself, right? But thankfully, I am a very kind and thoughtful mother-in-law, which means that I'm going to forgive you for all of that. And to make sure you understand just how kind of a woman I am, I made sure that today everyone would be eating high-end filet mignon. And that's why all of my family is really looking forward to this gathering and to seeing you here. Since you're Brandon's wife, you're going to be filling your stomach up on all kinds of high-end salts, all right?
What do you mean by that?
Well, you never seem to be able to take a hint. You're nothing like the rest of my family, all right? It would be a waste of money letting you eat some of the finest meats that I can buy. So the only thing a stranger like you will be eating today is the steak salts that everyone else could care less about.
Really? Did you just call me a stranger?
Yes, I did. A terrible wife like yourself means nothing to my family, and that's why we can't even think of you as part of us. Ugh, why did my son ever end up marrying a woman like you in the first place? Besides, the fact that his wife is completely useless, he's a perfect man.
Is that right? Then forget about your allowance.
What?
If you're going to say that I'm not your family or anything anymore, then there's no reason for me to really be sending you any more money.
Huh? What are you talking about? To me, you're nothing more than a stranger, but to you, your in-laws should all still be considered your family. That's just common sense, right? So you have the responsibility as my son's wife to keep that money coming to us.
I completely understand your way of thinking, Patty, so please allow me to go and have a word with Adam about this.
Sure, go ahead. But that's not going to change anything for you. That boy will understand my way of thinking completely and won't let you get away with such a lawless action. Anyway, you'd better be at this family gathering today, May.
Adam, where are you right now?
I just finished up getting some things from the grocery store, and I'll be on my way home. What's going on?
I was just texting with your mom a second ago.
My mom, huh? I'm sure this isn't going to be good then, right?
Well, she started off by asking me if I'd be making it to the family gathering today. But then soon after that, she made it very clear to me that I'm not considered family to her.
Huh? She went that far with you now?
Yeah. She told me that to make her family all happy, she went and bought a bunch of really expensive filet mignon. But since she doesn't see me as a part of the family, the only thing I'll be allowed to eat is the steak salt.
Do you want to just stay home from that stupid event?
Honestly, I really don't want to go to that stupid event. But if I don't show up this time, then things will only become worse the next time around, right? I was being honest this whole time about having to work all the time and never being able to attend those gatherings. So this time I should actually go. I think the reason she said something like that to me, about me not being a family to her, is because I haven't been going out to see anyone recently. Maybe it was just meant as a joke or something.
Well, if that was meant to be a joke from her, it was not a very funny one. But if you're saying that you'd like to go this time, then I guess we're going. I myself haven't really been going home to my parents all that much recently. I'd like to go see them and check on how things are going there.
Check on how things are going? Just in general?
You know better than I do that there are plenty of things wrong with my mom, right? I want to go and check to see if she's been telling the truth at all to the rest of the family, or if she's still hiding all her problems. In the past, lots of people have been hurt by what she was doing, so I just have to make sure things aren't getting bad again.
Is that right?
Well, I guess today we're really heading over to my parents' house then. But if there's anything that makes you want to go home while we're there, let me know right away. Then we can get the heck out of there.
Mary, you really have no guts, do you? Getting picked on by your mother-in-law is something you need to deal with as my son's wife. What were you thinking showing up here today only to turn right back around and leave like that? Are you trying to make me look bad in front of the rest of my family?
I never thought that you'd actually have a plate ready for me at the dinner table filled with nothing but garlic salt. Everyone else had a nice steak and vegetables on their plates, yet I had nothing more than salt and a shot glass filled with water. What you've done hasn't only pissed me off, but it's upset your own son now as well.
And when Adam starts to get upset like that, your job as his wife is to make him settle down, right? You really are so useless, always blaming others for your own faults.
Could you tell me why you always have to treat me like this, Patty?
Well, there's not any kind of deep meaning to it, actually. I just happen to not really like you at all. I had made such a fine young man, and you came out of nowhere and completely ruined him. I don't want some thief like you becoming a part of my family, so why should I have to cater to you when it's so much easier just to treat you like said thief? Also, the reason my son never comes around his own parents anymore is because of you, right? Who is the real menace to this family, I wonder?
I do apologize for all the times I've not been able to come out to see you all, but all of those times I had really been busy with work and could not afford to leave that work behind. However, just because of that, you've gone and treated me like a complete stranger? Actually, much worse than a complete stranger. And now you've just gone and done it in front of everyone else in the family. I really don't want to say something like this to you, Patty, but that money you're being given every month is the money I've worked countless hours for.
What was that? So now you're going to try to play the victim here? The only reason I gave you all that salt was because you've been getting a little plump lately. You should be very thankful that I was so thoughtful today, yet for some reason, you don't seem to care at all for my thoughts on your figure.
Well, if that was really the case, then why salt of all things? Wouldn't that only make me fatter in the end? Ugh, I'm done with this, Patty. It seems that no matter what I say, no matter what I do, your way of thinking is not going to change.
Would you stop trying to play things off like I'm the one in the wrong here?
Since you're no longer going to view me as part of your family, I'd like you to stop contacting me from now on. So please leave me alone. If you ever need anything from us or have something to say, bring it up with Brandon.
Oh, running away from us again, I see. Well, that's totally fine with me. As long as you keep that money coming to me, I won't say another word to you. Excuse me, this month's allowance has still not entered my bank account at all, not even $1. Did I forget to mention to you that it is your responsibility to be sending me that money each and every month since you're Adam's wife? If you're not going to keep up with your responsibilities, then I'm going to have you divorced from my son.
Now, this is just what I remember, but I believe that last time I told you that I'd stop sending you money from now on, right? Or did I perhaps forget to say that to you?
I don't ever remember you saying something like that to me. And had you, I would most definitely have said no to that.
Let me ask you something, Patty. Could you please tell me why exactly I have to keep sending you an allowance each month? Because I don't quite remember what the reason was, if there even is one.
You don't remember? My reason is because you're my son's wife. And your primary job as his wife is to shut up and listen to what his mother tells you.
Then can you please explain to me why over time you've been asking for more and more money from me?
What?
At the start you were only asking for around $400 a month from me. But over time you continued to ask for more and more until it came to around $1,500 a month. Do you really need that much money from me?
I told you this already. There are still some payments left over on the loan we took out when we had part of the house reformed. And with my husband's income only, there were parts of our life that we felt a little uncomfortable because we were so close to not having enough money.
I heard that reason from you before, but are you really only using this money I'm giving you on paying off that loan?
What are you trying to say?
Well, it's just, ever since I started to send you money each month, you've become more and more outgoing and overbearing. Also, you've been trying so hard to not let your husband know anything about the money I'm sending to you. You must have another reason for why you need this money from me, and one that would upset your husband very much if he were to find out, right?
There's no reason like that. But you never say anything about this to him. You still understand that, right?
Well, that's too bad, because I've already brought it up with him.
What did you just say? I have told you again and again not to say anything about this to him. You really are completely useless to me.
Well, let me just say, it wasn't me that went to him about all of this. He realized that something was up and came to me asking some questions about it all. He said that he noticed how much more flashy your choice of clothing had become and wanted to know from me if there was anything going on with you. He then said to me that if there is anything going on between you and my family regarding money, to let him know about it.
So, then, you told him about that allowance?
I did. It's the truth, after all. And then, after telling him about that money I've been giving you, he started to tell me some things that I had no idea about. There has never been a point this whole time your husband has been paying off that loan where you've handed him any money to help pay it off. So let me ask you one last time. Where is that money I give you every month going? You lied to me about that helping pay off the loan, all so that you could milk all that money off me, right?
Recently, I've been wondering why he's been so cold around me. So this has all been because of you, huh?
Don't start blaming me for your issues, Patty. Anyhow, I'm not going to be sending you any more money for the time being, as I do not support you going out and wasting it on things that are not related to your husband in the house.
So you have no idea what could happen to you by turning your back on me and not listening to what I've said. I'm going to make sure you and Adam are no more. No matter what it is, this is all your fault. I've now gone and lost my son, who once loved me more than anyone else. And now a lot of people in my family are no longer talking to me and will only roll their eyes when I try and talk to them. Had you just stayed in line, never complaining about anything I was doing and listened to me, none of this would be happening. How dare you cause my life to fall into ruins?
Patty, you're still whining about how all of this is my fault? So none of what Adam was telling you about actually made it into that thick head of yours?
Huh? I don't want to hear any of that from you now, especially since you're the bitch who went and took everything from me.
Honestly, Patty, shut the hell up. I am utterly tired of listening to you go on and on about how this is all my fault and that you could never be responsible for making everyone want to hate you. Do you still think that I know nothing about the kind of indecent witch you are deep down? I know about all the things you did to your son as he was growing up, and I have to say it really pisses me off thinking that I still have to talk with you.
What? Tell me what was so bad about the things I did that you'd be pissed off with me. All I did was act like a good mother and raise my boy into the man he is now. I will not let anyone complain about the things I did for him.
Well, that's too bad, because I'm going to complain. I'll have you know that I frickin' hate people like you. People that think they can just use other people and abuse other people and steal from them when they gain something you want. You must have no idea what it means to have some frickin' dignity, do you, Patty? My mom was the same way, as a matter of fact. One massive bully that I never wanted anything to do with but was forced to live under for years. Whenever I did something amazing, she'd always say it was because of her. She would always tell me to listen to what she says, no matter how ignorant and wrong it was. And when I messed up, she would tell me I was no good and that I was embarrassing not only her, but everyone in the family. You and my mom both seem to mistake your child's love for your own, and that's so upsetting to me.
I completely understand what your mother is talking about and feeling.
I'm sure you frickin' do. Both of you share that same single brain cell. I'm sure neither of you have ever thought about your own kids, have you? And that's why your own kids have had to fight for their life to fix their ways of thinking. It took me years to get over the fact that I was more than my mom's puppet and that my wants and needs mattered too.
The only reason you ended up having issues like that in the first place is because you're not good enough for this world. Maybe you needed to grow a pair and actually live up to your mom's expectations.
Well, I'm sure you could say something like that, but that's totally fine. Here's how things are going to end here. Patty, you're going to be kicked out of your husband's house, so please begin preparing yourself for the big move out of there.
Huh? What do you mean I'm being kicked out of his house?
Your husband is planning to divorce you now, Patty. And as everyone seems to recall, it's your husband that owns that house, right? So that means after the divorce, you will no longer be allowed to live there anymore.
Wait, why do I have to be the one getting divorced here, and why do I have to be the one getting kicked out of this house?
You don't know why? Interesting. Because from what I'm aware of, you have been using all the money I've sent you to lavish yourself. You've also used some of it to get yourself a younger boyfriend, right? You also ended up borrowing some money from a loan shark because I wasn't giving you all you needed to afford that lifestyle.
I was planning to pay it all back. So you can't call that money borrowed. I'm not in any debt.
Oh, so there's no excuse for you paying another man to take you out?
That's because to me, I'm not actually paying him to go out with me. He and I are in love now.
Honestly, I can't tell if that's a joke or not, but that's not my problem. How about you go and tell your husband about that now and see what he thinks of it? I'm sure he'd love to find out that you're in love with a younger man you've been paying to take you out now. Anyway, your husband has also noticed some of your shared money being used up, so he's made sure to count that all up as well. And he's going to make sure you pay him back that amount.
No way. Arya, can you please do something to set my husband straight? I'm sure if you go to him saying that what I've done wasn't all that bad, that he'll listen to you and stop trying to get this divorce.
Oh, have you forgotten already? I'm not your family. You said it yourself that I'm nothing more than a complete stranger to you. So I'm sorry to say this to you, but I am not that kind of a stranger. I know some are willing to do a lot for others that they don't know, but I don't have that kind of heart in me.
No. What should I do here then?
Well, I think the first thing you should start to do is find yourself a new place to move to. How does that sound?
Can you at least get my son to think about cutting ties with me? My husband is going to throw me away, and my own son wants to cut ties to me.
Brandon is the one who decided that he doesn't want you as his mom anymore, so I have no right trying to say anything to him about that choice. Now, it's getting to be that time where I need to head back into work. Don't talk to me ever again, Patty.
Please, just listen to what I'm saying to you. Do something about this, please.
After Patty divorced her husband, her life took a downward turn. She lost her home as her husband forced her out of the house. Left with no place to go, Patty clung to the hope that someone in the neighborhood might take her in, convinced of her charm and believing herself to be an exceptional woman. She began knocking on doors, asking her neighbors for shelter. However, her past arrogance worked against her. Patty has always been the type to flaunt her son's accomplishments, treating him like a trophy to showcase at every opportunity. This behavior has earned her the disdain of nearly everyone in the neighborhood. On top of that, rumors about her personal life circulated among the residents. Many knew about the man that she had been paying to date her and the romantic feelings she harbored for him. These revelations only deepened the animosity towards her. Consequently, no one wanted to offer her any help or even engage in a conversation about her plight. Faced with rejection from everyone, Patty realized she couldn't stay in the area and decided to leave. Desperate, she turned to her family and returned to her parents' home, a place she hadn't visited in nearly a decade. Her arrival, however, was met with suspicion. Her relatives were wary of her sudden reappearance and questioned the reason behind her divorce. Due to their curiosity, no one confronted her directly or sought an explanation. Instead, they kept their distance and regulated her to living in the basement, isolated and humiliated. Patty withdrew from the world. She stopped seeing the young man she had once claimed to love and chose to shut herself in, rarely venturing outside. Meanwhile, my own life with Adam has improved significantly. With less stress, I've been able to refocus my energy on work, which is already paying off. I'm on track for a promotion, and Adam is also striving for a similar advancement in his career. We've both been busy with our jobs and haven't spent much time at home lately. However, we have a shared goal. Once we're both in stable, higher positions within our companies, we plan to slow down and focus on starting a family of our own. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.
Hey, Ray, are you there? I gotta talk to you about something real quick. Let me know as soon as you see this message. Hello, Warren. What can I do for you? Is everything okay? Yes, I realize that you may be out of the office right now visiting our site, so I hope that now is a good time to chat. That's no problem for me at all. I'm actually taking my lunch break at a cafe right now, so I have some time to text. Great. Well, I wanted to ask if you had any plans for tonight. Oh, well, no, I don't think I have any plans to speak of tonight. Although it is Friday, do you mind if I ask you why you're wanting to know? Well, I just wanted to ask you if you had any plans to go out tonight or anything like that. I know that you young people are always about, squeezing in your partying wherever you can get it. Right, I guess we can do that sometimes. But like I said, I don't have any plans or anything like that. Why do you ask? Do you think I'll have something overtime to do tonight or something? No, of course not. I was just wondering if you want to go out and grab some dinner with me is all. There's a new steak place that I really wanted to try out. You want to invite me to go out with you to a steakhouse? Well, just think of it as a prize for yourself. I mean, this morning, when you locked in with a class into their contract, I just had never seen anything like it at all. You are great. I just want to show my gratitude for all you've done for our company. No, it was really nothing. I was just trying to tell them what they wanted to hear without lying to them. Don't be so modest. You really did great, I swear. This is what we do in the industry, don't you know that? You close a big deal and then your boss takes you out for dinner. What's so wrong with that? Or is it the restaurant? Do you not like steak or something like that? I don't mind going somewhere else like sushi or pasta or anything. You name it, it's my treat, honest. No, it's nothing like that. I really love a good steak. Steak sounds fine. Thank you. Well, okay then, it's decided. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you reaching out to me and offering to do this. Let's get dinner. That sounds like a fun time, actually. Aaron, are you there? I'm really sorry to be telling you this so last minute, but the thing is that I'm gonna be taking out one of my subordinates to dinner tonight, so I won't be eating at home.
Oh, really? But you didn't mention anything about going out for dinner tonight when you left for work this morning.
I know, I really didn't think that I was even gonna be doing this. But this employee is new to the company, but managed to close a really tough deal, so I gotta take him to show how thankful the company is.
Oh, I see. Well, that makes sense. I feel like this isn't the first time you've done something like this. But since you're already going out to eat, maybe I should take the kids out to eat somewhere as well. I was just thinking that it has been a while since we went out to a restaurant.
Well, I think that's a great idea. The kid deserves to eat out every now and then too. You should do that. But anyway, I just wanted to let you know that that was happening and that I'm not gonna be home until later.
No problem. Thank you for letting me know. I do appreciate it.
Oren, I'm really sorry to be bugging you like this, but can we talk? Ray, why are you texting me? What's the matter? I know that the food is taking a bit to come out, but there's no need to panic. No, sorry, it isn't that. I just have to tell you something that I saw. So, I was in line for the bathroom since there was only one that wasn't closed for cleaning, and anyways, well, I just saw something that was really weird. You saw something weird? Well, okay, what was it? Is everything okay? It was nothing too horrible, it's just that I saw this mom and her daughter sitting at the dinner table. And the mom's plate was full of food and looked like it had just been delivered from the kitchen, but the little girl only had a cup of water in front of her. And as I looked around the table, I realized that there was a second kid, a son. And the son, just like the mom, also had a plate full of food. Wait, what? So you tell me that this parent went to the trouble of taking her kids out to dinner but is only letting one of them have water? Well, actually, it's more that I'm looking at this family. The more that I think that it's your family, Oren. Wait, what? You telling me that you think the family that you're looking at right now is actually my family? You can't be serious about that, right? Well, I haven't seen them in person, but I've seen the pictures of your family that you have on your desk in the office plenty of times. And the little girl is sitting at this table is the spitting image of your daughter in the photo on your desk. So you're telling me that the girl that's sitting at the table and only drinking water looks like she could be in high school then? If I had to guess, I would say that she looks like she could be a high schooler, yeah? Well, I do know that my little Sarah has been on a diet recently and has lost a little bit of weight. Unless she isn't even on a diet. You know what? I think that I made a mistake. I don't think that family is your family. I mean, what would be the odds of that? I just think that I was standing in line for so long that I started getting a little bit too in my own head. I didn't mean to worry you or anything. I'm really sorry if I did, but it's probably just better to forget all that I've said any of this. You really think that it was just your imagination? I really hope so. But just in case, when you get back to the table, I'm gonna go out to the bathroom and look at the family that you were talking about, okay? Okay then, sounds good. I'm just gonna head out of the bathroom right now, actually. Okay then, see you in a bit. Well, I went over to the bathroom and pretended to use it, and you were right. That is my family sitting over there. But I'm so confused. I managed to get pretty close to their table without them noticing me, and I heard my wife telling my daughter that she was allowed to have water. While her and my son get gushing over how good the food was, she was clearly just trying to make my daughter feel even worse. I see. Oren, I'm so sorry. I really don't know what to say to this at all. It's okay, Ray, but I think if it's okay with you, I'd like to invite my daughter over to our table. You want to invite your daughter to come and eat with us? Well, I said that I got close enough to their table without them noticing me, but I think my daughter Sarah did actually notice. I texted her from the bathroom telling her to keep an eye on her phone for me. I figured I would talk about this with all of you before we moved forward at all. Oh, I see. Well, I really don't mind at all if that's something you want to do. It sounds like your daughter probably isn't enjoying herself at all anyways, so by all means, invite her over. Okay then, just a second. Hey, Oren, I just wanted to thank you again for dinner. I can't remember the last time that I ate that well, and it really meant a lot to me that you wanted to take me out. No, don't worry about that. Besides, I only took you out because of all the hard work that you've been doing. Besides, I don't know how grateful you should really be to me, seeing as you ended up getting sucked into my family drama for just a bit. Oh, you really don't have to worry about that, Oren. I'm just glad that you were able to get your daughter out of that situation and have her come and sit with us. Yes, well, it only dawned on me that when she came to the table that you probably have no idea about anything regarding my family, really. Especially the fact that Sarah is my daughter from a previous marriage and that Erin is my second wife who has her own son. We've been married for 2 years already, and I really did think that things were going well for all of us. But I had no idea that she really disliked Sarah that much. Well, I know that this isn't really my place to say anything about any of this, but I just want to let you know that if I can help in any way, I'd be more than happy to. Thank you, Ray, that really does mean a lot to me. And you might just regret telling me that because I may actually call you in for some assistance at some point.
What is the meaning of this, Oren? You can't actually be serious about this, right? Are you really going to divorce me? For what? What did I even do?
Erin, are you really gonna tell me that you have no idea what those divorce papers might be about at all? You really have no idea why I might want to divorce you?
Well, I guess there was that time about a month ago that I had to leave Sarah with your mom at the very last minute. But I only did it because your mom lives so close to Sarah's high school and I really didn't have time to go and pick her up. Surely that isn't what this is all about though, right?
You're so close and yet so far. It's something that happened about a month ago. You're right about that. But can you guess at all about what else it could be?
You mean it wasn't about that? Well then, what could this possibly be about? I really have no idea in the slightest. Can't you just tell me?
I'm talking about what you did to Sarah at the steakhouse. You took both of our kids out to eat there, and yet you only let my daughter drink water while your son was able to eat his fill.
Wait, hold on. What are you talking about? Where is this all coming from? Did Sarah tell you that? Surely you don't really believe that, right? Of course I let her eat. She can eat whatever she wants. Why would I care about that? In fact, she actually ate the most out of all three of us when I took them out for dinner then. I was actually so surprised at how much she was eating because she's always going on about her diet, you know. But she didn't really seem to mind.
Erin, just give it a rest. I was in that same restaurant while the three of you also were.
Wait, what? What do you mean you were there with us? It was just the three of us. I'm sure that you weren't there at all.
You're right. I wasn't there eating with the three of you. But I told you about how I was going to be taking out one of our employees for a dinner, right? Well, we went to that same steakhouse, and while the two of us were there, we saw what you were doing to Sarah. Well, my coworker actually saw it first. I only went over to check on you after he told me he thought he saw my family there.
Hold on a second. So then, when Sarah left the table because she said she was getting a phone call from a friend and then never coming back.
That's right. She wasn't really getting a phone call from a friend. I just invited her over to have dinner with my colleague and I. We were in another part of the restaurant, so I guess that you didn't actually see where we were sitting.
You've got to be kidding me. You aren't actually serious about all this, are you?
Of course I'm serious, but I have to say that I'm just shocked at all that Sarah told me while we talked that night. She let me know all about how when I wasn't there that you would treat her so awfully.
Me? What on earth are you talking about? I've done nothing on the sort. You aren't really going to take her word over mine, are you?
I thought I told you to just drop the act already. Sarah even had recordings of you yelling at her at home. And she told me about how you stole her money that she got from her job and never sent her to school with enough food. She even showed me all that she wrote in her diary about what you were doing to her.
But see? Why would she do that? I didn't even know that she had it in her to talk about all this. She's always so sad and quiet at home. Why does she open up to you?
I just want you to know that I was talking to a friend of mine who is currently studying law, and he told me that there is nothing that can stop this divorce from happening.
Oren, please, just calm down. Surely we can talk about this. I mean, I know you told me to drop off Sarah at her grandma's so that she could live there for a while, right? I thought that was your way of choosing us over her.
It was never about that. I sent my daughter to go and live with her grandma so she wouldn't have to live with you or her son.
And so you're really just going to divorce me then? It isn't fair. You can't do this to me.
Well, it's either that or we could take this matter to court.
Court? Are you threatening to sue me? For what? I didn't even do anything wrong. Please, you can't do this to me, Oren.
Of course I can. But if you just agree to sign the divorce papers, then I'll accept Sarah's bereavement payments via the alimony.
Bereavement payments? What on earth are you talking about? You mean on top of divorcing me, you're really going to try and make me pay? It wasn't like I was out cheating on you or something. I was just trying to show Sarah some tough love.
I don't care what excuses you have. The fact of the matter is that you are treating my daughter terribly despite marrying me and becoming her mother-in-law. So you might as well save all your excuses for her.
But this can't really be happening. Are you really going to choose your daughter over your own wife? You wouldn't be so crazy as to do that, would you?
Are you going crazy? Of course I'm gonna choose my daughter. I was always going to choose my daughter.
But it's really that easy for you. I don't believe it.
Anyways, just know that this divorce is going to happen. I've already talked to a lawyer about it, and she said it's gonna be pretty cut and dry.
You mean you've really already gone out and hired a lawyer for all of this? I guess you really are serious about leaving me.
Of course I'm serious. Even if you told me you were gonna stop all this nonsense and treat my daughter fairly, it still wouldn't change my mind. The only thing I want from you now is an agreement to the divorce. That's the only way I can save my daughter from you.
But I don't want a divorce. I don't want to leave you, Oren. Surely it doesn't have to be this way, right?
If you didn't want it to be this way, then you should have treated my daughter how you did in the first place.
But then what about my son? You're really going to walk away from this marriage and him when he didn't do anything?
No, please. I know that you and your son have both been bullying my daughter together. I'm so glad that you two could bond over treating someone so horribly. By the way, I've canceled the lease for our place, so you and your son have until the end of the month to move out.
Cancel the lease to our apartment. How could you do that?
Why would I want to live with the woman who I'm divorcing? You better start packing up your stuff quick and look for a new place to live, too.
But then, you're really going to leave me as a single mother. You're just going to cast my son and I into a life of poverty because we were teasing your daughter a little bit. Are you still sure that you want to go through this divorce? I really think that it would be best if you didn't. I mean, who is going to want to marry a man your age with a kid who's been divorced twice?
I don't care. I'm gonna do whatever it takes to make sure my daughter is safe. Besides, I did a little more digging and learned about something about your last divorce. You told me that you and your husband split up because of an affair, but now I realize that it was you who was engaging in it.
Wait a second. How did you find all that out? And just who are you to judge me anyways? You and your wife probably split because you were cheating on her.
Actually, my wife died of cancer.
Oh, well, I don't have anything to say on that.
And I don't have anything more to say to you except that you had better pay me by the deadline you agreed to, or else. Hey, Ray, are you there? I just wanted to be the first to say welcome back from your business trip. Oh, thank you, Oren. I appreciate that. I was just gonna drop off my papers at the office and then I was gonna go home. I see. Well, if you don't have any plans, I was thinking you and I could go out for the night. Oh, well, I haven't made any concrete plans since I'm just getting back. Excellent. I have another really great place I'd love to take you. Kind of a local hole in the wall that not really a lot of people know about. It'll be my treat, so what do you say? Well, I really appreciate the invitation, but you just took me out to eat the other month. I couldn't possibly ask you to do that again. Well, I just thought I'd invite you out so I could tell you how the rest of our family drama went since last month. Thankfully, I was able to solve it without having to call you in for anything after all. After that, I went out with Oren and met him at the address that he gave me. The restaurant was tiny and packed, but the food was delicious. I noticed that Oren seemed to be a lot happier than usual. He told me all about how he had found out what his wife was doing to his daughter. He told me about how he realized that he had to get her out of that situation no matter what it took. Then he told me about the divorce and how he convinced his wife to pay a huge sum to settle any future legal issues that might be between the two of them. Oren told me about how he and his daughter have moved in with his mom for the time being and that they are looking for their own place. He said that now it's just him and Sarah together and he wants to make sure that he has everything he needs for a happy life and that he makes sure he's there to be a part of it.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.